I'd like to thank you all for being here.
The same word, you didn't know it.
I'd like to begin the Hartsville Trousdale Water Sewer Utility Board meeting for January 9th, 2024. And I'd like to open the meeting and begin with our invocation. And if you'll all stand, please. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we might be able to stand.
Well, I got a friend that had a report put in today, it's basically 6 months of chemo. And a couple of the buddies that they were struggling that time for driving and everything. And brother had a hip replacement today and he's doing fine. We could all use each other's prayers. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day, for the opportunity for us to serve. Help us to always be mindful of our responsibility to our community, to our citizens. And bless us with wisdom to make wise decisions. Thank you for the freedom we enjoy as citizens of the United States of America. So we praise you and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Next order of business is our roll call, and let it show that Mr. Lonnie Taylor and Ms. Kendra Stafford both will not be in attendance this evening. And we do have a quorum. And do we have any amendments to the agenda? Do we need to add anything to the agenda? Tommy, can you get that taken care of for Mr. Mark, so we don't need to add that to the agenda? Thank you. So let the agenda stand as written at this time, unless anyone else has anything. Next order of business we have is the approval for our November 2023 meeting minutes that are in your packet.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, Ms. Harper, and a second, Mr. White. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business we have is the approval of November and December 2023 financial reports that are also in your packet. Do we have any thing that needs to be presented to the board on the financial statement, Tommy, in your managerial report?
Now, everything is, we've, in November, we were 20.39% lower revenues, and then we were about, 17% is, decent.
Motion to approve.
Have a first and a second on the floor, Harper and McCall. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business we have is our water loss report for the November and December 2023 months, since we did not meet last month. We'll have both of those in that report. Mr. McFarland, you have the floor.
And then in November, when it was 40.1%, the previous year was 55.8. And the December month was 40.9%, we were lower that year. All in all, we had some decent holiday time. We didn't come out much, but after holiday, had a pretty good break up there on all the days. I had 20 foot minus. And we fixed these small, so
Does anyone have any questions? The 20-foot line, was that the line that was installed for the Lafayette future use?
No, it's an old, that's the old complete road.
Okay.
It's an older line.
Good to know. Thank you, sir.
We've had a lot, since I've been here, we've fixed at least 1 or 2 weeks a year. It was just poor delay, and sitting on, a lot of times it's sitting on rock and it's what it's causing them to crash. We fix quite a few every year on that line.
Okay. Thank you. Next order of business is Ms. Tanya C., is that correct? Ms. Tanya C. would like to address the board concerning her water bill. And can she sit where she's at and speak, or it'll pick her up? Okay, so you're welcome to stay in the seat that you want to see, and you're welcome to present the board at this time.
Okay, I live in a single family home. And my water bill is almost $90 per month. I only wash no more than 4 times per month, and I'm very rarely cook. And I have asked my neighbors, which I'm the only person up there where I live that lives in a single family home, how much was their electric bill? Theirs is like $67. I'm not using that much water per month. 1 month, I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago, my water bill was higher than my electric bill. And it was averaging 67 something a month, and then it just continuously went up to 70, then here it is 80. And then it was almost $100 a month. I don't understand it.
I hate that you are having this increase in your water bill without a known justification of what it is. That's disheartening. What I can state is from the water meter to your home is the property owner's responsibility. Now, that may include your toilets. And I can speak from experience, and this lady right here can tell you, I have been walking through the exact same thing personally in my own home just recently. And it took me about 3 months. It took took my husband and I about 3 months to figure out what it was. We went through and, Mr. McFarland recommended that we make sure our toilets weren't leaking. We couldn't find them leaking. We might find them running slow or maybe we changed every seal in our toilets in our entire house, and that still did not take care of it. This is one of the hardest things to find if you have a long line like I do, and it's coming from your line and not your toilets in your house. Because there's so many resources of where that could be. And I don't know if have you spoken with Mr. Tommy about troubleshooting the situation?
I talked to Laura Williams.
Miss Lloyd, yes,
Yes,
she's pregnant.
And she had me to do a test. I did exactly what she told me to. She said to call her back about 8:30, 9 o'clock the next day. And I waited till 10. And I said, Laura, I did exactly what you told me to. And, it remained in the back of the commode. I've done everything.
Well, there are some other troubleshooting things that would most likely need to be done first. And Mr. McFarland, do you have any troubleshooting that you need to do for your department for this?
We checked your meter money just to make sure see if we could find anything wrong with the meter. We checked it out. County crew went up there and they looked at it, and while they were there, they witnessed water going through your meter. I don't know if he was home, nobody came out while I was there. It was Monday morning sometime. And while he was there, he witnessed that there's a little leak detection on the meter that shows gallons per minute flow, and it was running while he was there. He took a picture of it and videoed it. So you got something going on, I just don't know what to tell you what it is. You check your commodes. Your relief valve on your water heater could be bleeding by. It's possible that it's a relief valve on your water heater, it can start leaking. They're intermittent, they're hard to find sometimes, but when I look at your data, And it looks like it could be a commode or something that looks in the middle. The commode will run a while, stop. It's hard to find them while they're done. It's very hard to find them. But while he was there, he witnessed your house water was running. And while we were there, we checked, make sure the meter numbers were correct, like if we had the wrong number, we might have been able to your neighbor or you can swap them up somehow. We didn't. That, we always check that and we check your meter, make sure it's functioning correctly. We shut your water off. And the gallon should stop running when it did, so that tells us the electronics are working fine. That's a little test we do to make sure everything's fine. And everything checked out and then we can water going through the meter while it was there. Now you might have been on mute, but I don't think we saw your video was, We did, you got something going on, is what we said. We wasn't thinking nothing wrong with the meter after doing those tests and making sure he was getting billed correctly. The transponder, there's an 8-digit number that goes to your meter, that's how we read it, that's how it identifies you. So that's how we know whose water is what. And we make sure that was right, make sure it wasn't something weird going on. Everything checked out, other than we did witness the leak while we were there. And your meter has the ability to tell you if you have to flip it really a couple of times. I don't know if you got any valves out in the yard you can cut off and then check your meter. We don't care to come by if you got them and be there with you to see if we can help you. But if you know you got any control valves in your line anywhere, that would be the way to test it to see if it stops leaking from your meter to your house. That tells you down in the ground, it might be under your house somewhere else. It's a way to process troubleshooting. You can also cut your commode valves off at night. If you got little control valves on them, and then we can see the data the next day, or it might take another day. But we can look at that. Because when I looked at your data, you're running water after midnight. 10 gallons every hour. It skips an hour and you'll run another 10 gallons. So a lot of times that's a commode can do that. We don't know what it is exactly. We just know we've seen people have problems like that. And we can tell from the data. But we get hourly data from meters so we can see what's going on. We can't, it ain't a magic ball. We can't tell you what it is, but we can give you an idea what. That's why Laura was trying to see it could be your commode. But not only your commode, flapper. The test she told you to do was the flapper test. If that flapper is not sealing, that color will show up in the bottom, but your valve can also malfunction. It can roll out the top of the drain, go straight down into your septic system. Your overflow in your tank. If that valve is not shutting off, water overflows and goes out. And it won't show up in your box, in your tank, in the bowl. So that can happen too. I had that happen to me, and when you got put in your bathroom, brand new commode, 2 months in a row, it was 3,000 gallons. And I had to replace the guts in the new commode, and they were bad. Those are kind of things that you usually about $20 you can replace the guts in a meter. It's easy, just a trial, see if that's what it is. You can do that pretty quick. That's what I did in that case, and it fixed it. I found it, but I didn't flush the commode and nobody stays in there and you walk away. But I was in there washing clothes and I heard it running. That's how I found that. So those are the kind of things you gotta try to look for in water. Cut your valves off. If you got control valves, you go back to your meter and make sure it quits. I don't know much about your system, but that's the things you can do.
And that's what we did at my house. Like we would cut the water,
Valves.
we'd cut the water valves off behind the toilet and then went out to the meter, saw if the meter was running. And that was how we were able to do some of the troubleshooting, which I live in an older home, so there probably did have quite a bit of wear and tear on it. So, a couple questions is, do you know if you have the leak protection? You do? Okay. So if I can recommend that you meet with Tommy, someone to meet Tommy's department, and since he offered to assist you, one of his gentlemen coming out and helping you and seeing if he could help you as much as he can. Meanwhile, Tommy was great about telling me what other things how to troubleshoot when we still had the leak still going after we even fixed that toilet. And mine was a leak of the line in the ground, but you couldn't see it from the surface. It was one of those tricky things. So there are a couple people in the community here that do do that kind of repair. And that that bill is not gonna go any lower if that's what your source is. And it's one of the trickiest things out here, I think. Does anyone else have anything else to add? But, I think that would be a great first start is to get a appointment to troubleshoot. I don't know if your gentleman can give her like a timeline of like from 10 to 2 that they come by or something like that.
Should be known, so it's known, we're trying to work in the future.
And Miss Laura would know.
You could let it slide, and I don't know, try to be sure we get somebody else.
But, and so Mr. McFarland ran, and then I know Laura probably showed this to you in the yellow, this is your time, when pretty much every other time is like 10, 0, 10, 0, so in your quantity. So you do have a little bit of time where it does go and it just continuously runs is what it does. And that's how you're racking up that quantity and fee and water usage, whether you're getting to utilize it or not to your benefit. Do apologize for your inconvenience. I'm grateful Mr. McFarland's gonna be able to help you do some troubleshooting. But in the event that does not come through and you're able to find that, I'm sure he has some resources of other individuals that could come out and check for you on things that their department can't do. So, and most importantly, I'm grateful you've applied for that and you're in the leak check protection for the leak and the line both. Because if you're signed up for both, that takes care of the line outside the house and then. So we'll look into that just for some proactive to be sure. And then that way once you've got that fixed, you'll be able to come back to Miss Laura and she'll know what to do on what steps for you to take next after it is fixed. So I do wish you the best. This was unnerving for myself and I'm grateful that they were able to tell me what times of day it was and also, so we were able to do those. But I wish you the best. Do you have any questions? Any questions for us?
No. Oh, no.
Most importantly, I want to thank you for coming to the board, presenting your situation and allowing us to hear from you. Greatly appreciated. Thanks. Our next order of business is engineering report with Evan White, Mid-10 Engineering. Mr. White, you're next.
Everything's done. We're still waiting for the pump and the testing of it. There'll be a pay request that'll be going in with the finals. We gotta get the tank tested first before we get the finals. As far as your ARP money, Faye was finally able to get the engineering agreement approved for the water plant design. None of the others have been run through and approved, so that was be your sewer and your water and your tanks. Our plan is to get all of the data together, Tommy and myself, some of my co-workers will be sitting down with TDEC. It's called a preliminary, engineering design type meeting where you sit down with them and see what they're expecting out of you. That's with the water resources would be, Angela, which is over the entire system, and then me with Cindy Slicker, she's over water. And they usually do it on all sewer plants, but they do like to do it on water plants. But they can show an idea, like, we're expecting to have to do a pilot program for the membrane type filter. So they'll tell you what they're expecting, like, yes, you're going to have to do it, and when you want to do it. So it kind of helps us start designing what we gotta go around and what all has to be submitted, so. It's kind of like a kickoff meeting, as we call it. We'll get that information and we'll start beginning to design plans on that. Our main focus is to get the sewers, building with the flow meters, so once she gets that through, I told her that try to get that one run through. She's trying to get this one, get all the comments on the water plant design only, address with them on the contracts before she tried to get any other ones. So she's trying to figure out, you know, get that. All the comments addressed, that one she submitted, the other ones are already addressed. So. She's not the only one that vote. Everybody's dealing with, they hired a third party that's reviewing everything.
TDEC?
Yes.
Okay.
And then tell me, Elijah, Eli Young, you're reviewing, we've had to have 2 meetings with them, so moving, yeah. They've come here and we've had meetings.
When,
They're not accustomed to, water sewer projects. So they don't know like how a lot of that swim in the past that they're really doing. I want to be straightforward with you.
Are they- Eli Young, are they out of Nashville?
They're nationwide.
I didn't know if they had a Nashville office here.
Oh.
Yes, okay. So your kickoff meeting for the preliminary engineering design with,
This thing,
when is it?
we've got to sit down. I've got to get all of that, so I need to know, I've got to sit down and figure out, what our treatment capacity going to be, intake. What chemicals are being fed, what, all different, so there's a big list that you, like, you gotta go through a lot, and kind of have it. It got, what, last week? Yeah, we just got it like 30 months ago.
Congratulations on the ARP.
So
Award.
that was 2 projects right
Now, the water plant design is off the ARP, the sewer and flow meter,
now. That's ARP.
it was granted also with the ARP as well.
You'll have 3 tanks to get rehab, that's granted off of that. You'll have a water line extension that's granted off of that, and you'll have a sewer, rehab system that's granted off.
Well, you guys can do
Mhm.
But only one of them, the first one, engineering company.
So the water plant is the engineer design that's approved.
That's on, yeah.
That's
And-
it.
And the reason she done that is because it was design on. So our design and build projects or construction projects.
Correct.
In other words, we design and build construction, none of those have been approved yet. Once you get the engineering approved, which is like our agreement between, our company and the board. Once that's approved, then we have to submit PDRs, which are the custom thing. We got to submit that on your water system and your sewer system. Water's 100% complete. Sewer is about 90% complete, so I'm just sitting there sitting on them because I can't submit them until the first document's approved. So those are, they have to get approved. They only can submit plans and specs, they have to get approved by both ARP and TDEC, water and sewer. So 2 approvals, they need to go to bid. So it's a process that we have to go through with these ARP projects.
Thank you.
And they went down in September.
The design or the construction completion?
Yeah, I'll have to make. They have to do it. Negative. Or all on the same, we're on the same.
Anything else, sir?
I'm sure there are questions about anything else.
With the loss of other ARP revenue eligibility going towards our previous plan. We would like to address that. And it might be best that we do that. You do not have that list, if you will bring that list, because we need to find out, we need the board to decide if they want to do the same plan now that we do not have a day.
Correct.
So we need to address that and,
Yeah, Tommy was looking at, future projects as far as what we're gonna need. He's needing it to give to MTAS to do the study, so what what I've been told in the past, we got all the tanks, you know, you got the ones that they didn't allow us to do. You got water lines down on certain roads. We had some upgrade to upsize some lines going out your main corridor, was something we looked at in the past. The water plant, construction itself, which is a big ticket item. And then, is there any intersection that you're really going to upgrade?
Yeah, I'm doing our signals, yeah, Sam B is gonna be right.
So there's a few lift stations, probably get some age on, that probably in your future, we'll have some more.
They got everything. I think it's the last one that's maybe.
And that's the one that's discussed in. So,
And there's the new highway.
That's the point that I was about to get to, is that there's a new highway, 230 building applications were for last year. They're planning, and a subdivision was presented last night, which that was a meeting I didn't see you at last night. I didn't see you there. So they're getting ready to,
where was, do you know where that was proposed to go? Pardon?
no, I told you about Templo is what I told you about. Yeah. Yeah, that's Templo. The one over there, it backs up to Jim Carmen's family's old place where the state took the right of way. So, I'll send it to you.
Well, I'm just asking. because,
Yeah, it's starting to go over there.
I mean, it's just, if it's way out, you can kind of pull that in your job.
No, it's not a lot of homes. It's just a few, but it's the first one that's being presented. It's the first subdivision.
But you know.
We're gonna go there. And so this is the next ARP.
Across the bridge.
We have it across the bridge, but you also have an ARP bill that we could apply for coming up coming up recently. So why don't we take the opportunity to cash in on those funds? Even though I do need to remind the board that is a 25% match, that's a 75-25. So, which we knew that when we were going in this last time.
That's,
For him to reapply, we are reapplying in January, February for the exact same dream? Or do we go in, reevaluate what we have and what's coming now that we weren't aware of in the future and go
I'd
forward?
like to see a list.
So if you'll email us that list, that way we can go ahead and start looking at it before our next meeting.
and they did tell us to keep it about 5 million.
Yeah.
Was what we was advised last time. It done no good last time. So I'm good.
And infrastructure is what they're looking for.
They are, but they're not wanting us to try to put, I think there was 178 million dollars in line. They didn't want somebody to come in for DP and try to get that to the system.
The goal was start with smaller projects to get that money to let go of, that way it flow easier.
And figure out what all the project is. To do.
Yeah, I'd like to say let's do.
Okay,
And
so
if y'all have this, if there's something y'all see in the future, I mean, it needs to be looked at in that.
the list would be.
Starting point.
The list would be the starting point, but also I would think we need to collaborate with the preliminary, or not the final on the bridge plans, like where's it going? And you have access to that because of the water line. So if you could bring the two together, I think those would be instrumental, because when we used the last list we just made up of how we were gonna do, we didn't have that. We didn't have the geographic location of exactly where the new bridge was gonna go,
Or the new road.
or the new road. So,
Well, we had preliminary water line placement to Starlight from the bridge, but we had to back all that out because of the cost.
That's why that's where they made y'all deposits.
Yeah, we had to deposit.
right,
And you couldn't get it back, and put it, what it's gonna cost, you know, which contract is gonna be the cost of the bridge.
since we were able to get the casing to go through the bridge, this might be,
You got a
we did get both. Okay. So if there's anything left over, this would be a great opportunity since that is infrastructure money and infrastructure project. So, but it's up to this board to
the
determine.
basis on it, have to run the bridge to, consider below.
Yeah, we do have a little short second back.
I mean, that's literally all you can do is water to the opposite side of the region. And it's short.
Okay.
It's a couple thousand feet.
If that's a document that you can send us, let us know you and Tommy. Anything else, Mr. White? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next order of business is general manager report from Mr. Charlie McFarland.
We talked about the him just then, but impasse will be here, this Thursday at 10 o'clock to meet with us. That is the first meeting about the, going over the study. We've sent them all the information they asked for. The only thing we don't have yet is just what these projects we need to decide on, what direction we're gonna go to put in there to see what the rate structure will be for the next 5 to 10 years, cover those costs. That's where we're at with that. We'll start that meeting, it's just when they get together and we can, go over what we're doing and I told her the only thing we would like giving to them would just be these capital improvement projects that we decide on to plan that out in the future.
Yeah, that's one, can we use that meeting to just recalibrate where we're at on all this crap?
That's what I'd like to
Cause
do.
it's all gotten so convoluted now.
I think you got those of us who need to.
Exactly.
Foundation,
Well, I mean, I've been here the whole time and I still don't know what the hell's going on. It's just, with stuff not getting approved and just, I'd like us to kind of back up, like you said. So, just one stupid question, this bridge project, what's it costing us on the pocket?
We put $1,100,000 in,
Mhm.
you just get across the bridge.
Water department.
Yes,
For water,
for water.
only for the water.
I don't get that. But why?
It would cost you about 160 to 2 million to get across it. Now there's the time to do it while
Yeah,
they're
you don't want to do it after.
right. They can get you in.
I get what I'm saying. Well, what is the exact purpose of why we're doing it?
To have a second line across the river.
To have it, you need a second source to the industrial park.
Yeah.
Or to the prison or anything out to the east. If your 12 breaks, if they break the 12 on Highway 25, then that whole side of the water district's out.
You can think both sides of it.
I guess I'm just, is this worth,
Yes.
we're gonna recoup this money.
On that new road, you probably will in homes, you might say.
Home, well, it's about to come to me and I think we're the only one that thinks it.
But it just provides us with some redundant water flow where we can route stuff around in emergencies.
I just want to record it.
Yeah, that's why, that's one of the reasons.
$1 million. And well, say people,
Now, they had to pay for some of it on what they had to move in their right of way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that gets moved in the right of way, they have to pay for that as long as it's in the right.
sure,
Okay.
if they were paying you this,
Make sure. Is aggravating me?
Huh?
Is aggravating me?
oh,
Thank you. Ms. McFarland, do you have anything else for your manager's report?
No, other than, one of the things we've been waiting on to finish the tank. The pump is coming next week, so that'll be the start, we'll be able to fill the new tank more efficiently. We can fill it, it'll take longer with the old system. But they're gonna bring that in and hopefully get it installed. And we should be able to get it up and running, hopefully maybe before next board meeting. That's an update on getting that finished, or we can test the tank, get that last final payout out and put the price.
They got that July, but it's still.
Thank you. Anyone have anything? Commissioner McFarland?
PMRC tells me that there's going to be a grant available to do an impact study on the 141 bridge. I would like to know, is there any study that could show us how the traffic patterns are going to change, because they're going to change
Yeah.
out of Macon County, even Clay County. I'd love to know what percent of the traffic that's going west is going to be rerouted, because we don't want to wait till that bridge is complete, when the road's complete, and say, uh-oh, what do we do now? We kind of need to know what we're gonna have when it's finished from a standpoint of development. So I'm gonna push that to find out kind of what our situation is gonna be out there. But it is gonna change.
I don't think you're gonna need a study. I know it's gonna be a lot easier to get around 125 after that happens.
Still make what?
A lot easier to get around with Highway 25.
They're great for everything for trucking, yes. It's dangerous.
Looking forward to it.
Well, don't get no hurry.
It's always good to have something to look forward to.
And Brad is knowledge too on this, and I talked with John Brothers today, and the lead superintendent there, and they're not gonna do any of the relocation for a year, so it'll be a year or so out, so we got to be concerned about it, right, it's coming.
That's what I understood.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Next order of business is our public comments. Let the minutes show that there's not any public in the audience at this time. And board members, do you have any comments? I'll take a motion to adjourn then. First and second. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.